SBTV Nation, good morning and hello. Wake up and get up and get your coffee and get your donuts and get your creamers. We're about to have an incredible show as my man Peyton Manning got the job done yesterday in impressive fashion. I got the Mad Hatter on with me, and also we have the lovely Charly joining us this morning on this meeting.
Charly, you know what? I don't think you can say your name anymore.
I don't think you can say my name either. I think that I just have to let it go.
I think we just got to say Charly. Charly, the queen of SBTV. How about that?
Name, you know what? I almost freeze up right before I'm about to say it, too. It's like, in my mind, it's saying, don't get it wrong.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's all right. So. You're going to get it one day, and when you do...
I think he's had it.
It's going to be a big cause for celebration.
Believe it or not, when you're not on the show, I do it with no problems.
Yeah, right.
No issues.
Oh, guys,
good
morning to the SBTV Nation. Charly, how you feeling out there today, honey?
I'm feeling good. I watched some good football last night, and I'm excited to talk about it with you guys and break it down for all of our listeners out there across the world.
Oh, absolutely, guys. We're going to start right off and have a little conversation about the AFC title game, which included the New England Patriots as they lost to the Denver Broncos.
No.
20-18.
You know what?
What's that?
Because don't nobody want to talk about that game.
Why not?
No, cause everybody wants to talk about Cam. Everybody wants to talk about how incredible Cam was, how much they destroyed the Arizona Cardinals, how impressive the win is, how the Broncos might as well not even show up for the Super Bowl after only beating the greatest team in the last 15 years in the history of the NFL, only after beating Mr. Tom Brady, the greatest Hall of Fame quarterback of all time, Bill Belichick, the greatest dynasty mind of all that now was immediately thrown out the window at 4:15 because Cam opened up and started doing his thing.
Salty!
Oh, wow. Somebody got
you are just a hater.
I'm just saying, how do we discredit
I don't think we need to discredit anything. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Broncos. Let's talk about the Patriots. Come on.
Let's see what.
How do we discredit the incredible? Listen, first and foremost, I gotta say this. Hats off to Kubiak. All right.
Yep.
Because I saw an offensive game plan that somebody went into the playbook and found some things in that playbook that were that they thought would work, and they executed to perfection. There were so many new plays that I saw the Denver Broncos run yesterday that I have not seen them run this whole season. And mind you, I know that Osweiler played and Peyton didn't play full games, but I'm saying we saw formations, lineups, we saw some stuff done. I mean, some really creative stuff done with the offense that let you know that this guy and this team got in the lab and got busy. They came with a prepared game plan, especially on the offensive end, to really disrupt the Patriots. Then as we flip it over to the defensive end, the Russian three guys, three linemen, and dropping the extra guy back to help. Dude.
Told you.
Brilliant.
Told you, man. That was the move. Coverage sack stream, and they were getting to him with the three guys.
Dude,
Brady had no time at all, man. It was great.
It was a brilliant play. I mean, when you talk about this is what I'm talking about. Now, that was coaching.
Yes.
Okay? That, my friend, that's what I needed to see out of Andy Reid. That's what we needed to see out of Pete Carroll. That's what we needed to see out of Arians. That's coaching right there. That meant you, instead of you saying, we're going to sit and do what we usually do and it's going to be successful, you went and you pulled up something that you knew was going to work based on what you've seen in film. Hats off to him. Start with that, that was very impressive.
Absolutely. Charly, what's your thoughts on the game yesterday, AFC Championship?
I thought it was a spectacular game. It was one of those games that was really just fun to watch, but it was also fun to watch because there were so many special things that we saw. I think we finally saw Peyton Manning and we weren't come back and look like he used to. And it wasn't that even at this point it was like, oh, he looks good for somebody who's hurt. He just looked good yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, his arm looked like it was doing all it needed to do. He had that third quarter scramble for 12, 13 yards, and he got the first down, which was a game changer. I mean, that was huge. I think that totally turned the tides in the direction that the Broncos needed it to go.
Yep.
And I mean, for a guy like Peyton, he was going so slow, but he still managed to outsmart the Patriots defense, get that first down, and that was critical. And I think he was like joking about it last night in his post-game press conference. He called it the run, and I'm pretty sure he used air quotes for it, but that was big.
Oh,
it just was really special to see Peyton Manning get such a big win and now return to the Super Bowl for what I believe could very well be his final time.
Yep.
So I was really excited to see such a stellar performance from, as you guys like to say, Peyton Ball.
Absolutely, and that I have to admit was the play of the game in my opinion. When I saw Peyton running for 12 yards for as long, that was absolutely outstanding. I was my kid, myself, and my father were all sitting there cheering. We were just like, I mean, I did say that. I thought the Patriots win yesterday. I did say that, and I'm not going to backtrack from that. However, deep down inside, you're looking at this and you're watching Peyton Manning, and you know what, Dream, your boy is one of the best of all time, and it's going to be great to see him in the Super Bowl. I have to admit that.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. You know what makes it difficult, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but now that Manning is at the helm for one team, and then we have Cam Newton, who I'm also a big fan of, it's going to be really tough for me to really pick who I want to win the Super Bowl, because I really would be excited to see either team win. So it just makes it a little more interesting, at least in my perspective.
I've given you Cam, so you don't have to pick.
No, I'm allowed to choose whoever I want. You are not choosing for me. Nope.
You got Cam, Little League.
No.
All right. Well,
because you're part of the younger generation, so I have to push you over to the young guy.
No, but I'm from Indianapolis. You can't take that away from me.
Very good point.
Okay, I got Peyton Ball's Indianapolis jersey on right now.
Oh, very good point.
But I'm from here. I grew up firsthand watching him, and we have like everything around the city. We have the Peyton Manning Children's Hospital. We have like all this Peyton. I mean, he's still to this day is huge in Indianapolis. And not only that, but I trick-or-treated at his house when I was younger. And he gave me a king-size candy bar, so I can cheer for him if I want.
Wow, very cool. Very good. Well, you know what? I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing a bunch of stats here, and I am seeing now, I know that we're all doing, playing cheerleader for Peyton Ball and all that, but we got to look at what happened in the second half. And with the exception of the Denver Bronco defense that were absolutely outstanding, Dream, if Brady had like 1 or 2 more seconds in that pocket, there's some havoc that could have been happening over there, man. I was looking at this.
Hold on. So wait. So you mean like if Russell Wilson the week before had 1 or 2 more minutes?
Yeah.
In the game, there could have been some havoc with the
Yeah, I guess you're right, man. I see what you're saying. All right, but let me ask you a question. You got 6 minutes left on the clock. Why doesn't Belichick kick a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down?
I noted that yesterday. I thought that was a dumb decision for him not to kick a field goal. Based on the time that was left in the game, I thought that was a bad decision. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I mean, if you kick the field goal there and then you come down to same events that happen, you win the game. If you're the Patriots.
That is now, but then again, you have the flip side of that is, okay, maybe Denver's play calling is different. Maybe it's aggressive. Maybe you don't get the ball back. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they score. I mean, there's a lot of maybes to throw in there, but I would have kicked the field goal in that spot. I tweeted it out when he did it. One guy said he didn't agree with me because he said that because he felt, his opinion was, that was the first time that New England had moved the ball the full length of the field, and that because you were down there, you needed to try to get your 7 while you were there. That was his opinion.
Okay, yeah, maybe they were just afraid that they weren't going to get down there anymore. So
yeah, that's what he was saying. But I don't agree with that. I think in that position you still have to kick that field goal based on the time, and you can't think we're not going to get down there anymore. Especially with Tom Brady, Gronkowski, and all the people everybody talked about all week long of being so incredible.
Yeah.
Edelman, Amendola, all those guys that were supposed to torch the Denver Bronco defense and do all types of things and win the game by 31 to, I don't know, what Dan have 31 to 10 or
31-14, yeah.
14, something ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, all those guys that were supposed to do their thing, you have to give them an opportunity to do their thing, even if it's not happening for a majority of the game. That doesn't mean it can't come to fruition at the end of the game. And still, my thing with Peyton Ball I felt was good. I don't feel it was a great performance from him, but it was a very good performance.
Okay.
He missed two, really bad throws.
Yes.
Like they were end zone throws.
Yeah.
Those two end zone throws. He overpassed the, I don't know which receiver
not
they
even
were,
that, but what I saw, which was not vintage Peyton Manning, was Owen Daniels on that same play was even more open on a much easier pass to throw.
Yeah.
And he opted to go. That's usually you can get him to miss a throw, but usually he won't miss the easier option. In this case, he missed the whole easier option, which I found I was screaming, but he ended up still getting a touchdown on that drive, so I guess we give him that. And then there was a couple other plays we overthrow, but in general, it was a good performance out of him. It was a good performance out of him.
Very good point. But are you at all concerned with the level or the lack of production in the second half by the offense, Dream?
Well, I mean, like I said, if I'm gonna be concerned with his lack of production in the second half, then I'm gonna go back to Cam against Seattle.
Got it. But I mean, end of the game, obviously you can't count the last drive of the game, but you look at that 3 plays, no yards. They had 3 plays, 3 yards, 10 plays, 48 yards for a field goal, 3 plays, -1 yard, 7 plays, 34 yards. I mean 3 plays, -5 yards.
And in there, I mean, the play calling for me, Peyton got caught a couple of times where they tried to go play action.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a Patriot defense, man, that also dug in.
Sure.
And they played good, and they pressured him. I mean, both defenses were just having their way with both teams. And they put pressure on him. There was a couple of times when Peyton went for some play action. And man, he would have had this 5 or 6 seconds, but he did it. But Patriots were all in his ass.
Oh, big time.
I mean, so I can't say that the play calling was conservative, but I just think that maybe at a couple of spots they got a little too aggressive, because you're talking situations where it was like 1st and 2nd down when they tried that, when maybe they should have just went and handed the ball off or did something a little bit more easy and not necessarily try to have him roll out. But because I think they thought they had success with it in the first half, they felt that there'd be more success with it in the second half.
And you could tell that those plays were just blowing up right away. As soon as he rolled out, he was dead. Boom.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the ball out of his hands at all. But, hey, you know what? The Denver Broncos emerge, and they are going to the Super Bowl, guys.
I was so impressed with the Broncos defense last night. I really was.
Oh, yeah.
I know that they're the league's best for a reason, but I thought last night they were on their Uh-oh. What's going on over here? Jersey change. Dream.
Switch it up. Yeah, we're gonna do like a halftime show. It's Peyton Manning Day at the crib. So we want to start off old. Now we're gonna get new.
Dream got the I love the apparel change right there.
I was super impressed with the Broncos defense, and I know that the Patriots came out with a little more force in the second half. You got to imagine what they were being told in the locker room at halftime. I mean, there's always a little bit of a momentum shift, I feel like, at halftime, just because that's when the coaches really dig into them and, the players dig into themselves. So they did come out with a little bit more, I'm going to say, drive and desire to play better. But the Broncos, their defense was just on it. Especially we watched them, cap off the game, when it could have eventually gone to a tie. But that pick by Bradley Roby, after being tipped by Aqib Talib, that was it. It was like, all right,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
But you know what? The one thing that agitated me about the defense, though, I just, and I don't know, maybe just call it me because I just wanted that dominant win. When the defense allowed Gronk
on fourth
down
down.
the middle on fourth down, I'm like, dude, how are you not in position? You bet that down. The game is over. I mean,
Right.
so lucky that they were able to still win this game, but for them to have played so incredible the whole game and then have that one play break down on them with Gronkowski out of all people, who they had doubled and given fits for a lot of that game. I was like, oh my God, how could you let that go? And they had Brady, and then Brady's last pass in the end zone too. If you look at the linebacker to the left of Gronkowski, he stopped running because I know he thought Brady got sacked too.
Yeah, right.
I was like, how the hell did he get the ball out of there?
He did, man. He did. He got it done.
Gronkowski was being double covered when he caught that touchdown pass.
Yeah, but the guy, the touchdown pass. Yes.
Right.
No, I'm talking about the fourth down play before that, 4th and 1, where he goes up the middle on the seam. He had double coverage, but the safety was late coming over and let him get the step. He had to step in front of him. That safety was never supposed to let him get in front of him.
Got it.
And he let him get in front of him. And I was like, how do you do that on the last play of the game? If you're in front of Gronk, you simply bat the ball down and it's game over.
Sure. Very good point, guys.
But it still worked out.
We're talking about the AFC Conference Championship game yesterday. And one thing I got to say to you guys is the New England Patriots, I believe, shot themselves in the foot when they went out to the Miami Dolphins and lost that game and lost home field advantage, Dream.
I love you talk about that because a lot of guys, we discussed that on Friday. They said, that game didn't count. They didn't care about it. And, there's a couple people, we don't care about a home field advantage. I
totally disagree. You need home field advantage, man.
You got to look at certain factors that also play into home field advantage when you're in Denver, and that's the altitude.
Sure.
I mean, did you see Gronkowski? He was sidelined for
every play.
Several minutes. No, I mean he was out for like half a quarter, I want to say, because he was cramping up, he was dehydrated, he had to have the oxygen mask, he had to be rolled out. I mean that was more than likely because of the altitude. That really affects guys who are coming in and not used to that. So for Denver, that was big.
Yeah, big.
Yeah.
Dream, that's what ends up happening, brother. And we talked about it, and we've been talking about it. The home field advantage does matter. It does matter in the playoffs, and obviously it's apparent this year because we got to talk about our next game, Dream.
Wait, I want to say one thing.
Yes.
You guys know that Peyton Manning got a $2 million bonus for winning last night?
Did he?
$2 million. He gets $2 more million if he wins the Super Bowl.
There we go.
Not too shabby.
Not bad, Dream. Not bad for your boy to get a $2 million.
He really needs it, too.
He does need it, yeah.
He's go buy a new
he's
Buick.
Struggling these days, for sure, with those nationwide commercials, Papa John's franchises. I mean, yeah.
He's going to go buy himself a brand new Buick.
No doubt.
That's what he's going to do.
Get the Buick, put some rims on it.
There you go.
Spinners.
Well, you know what? We got to talk about the second game, man. We got to talk about... you already know that we had to play.
Everybody who lost the New England Patriot game is all they want to talk about is Killer Cam.
We got to talk about Killer Cam. 49-15 over the Arizona Cardinals. What an embarrassment that was, Dream, for the Arizona Cardinals to go out there looking like that, man. What's up, kid?
And that was the highest scoring game in an NFC Championship. 49 points.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
I talk about coaching all the time, and you need your coach most when stuff's not working, because you need somebody to give you something that will work, or at least try something different. I talked about weeks ago about road teams going no huddle at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
It puts your quarterback in a rhythm. It helps offset a pass rush. And obviously, I'm talking. I'm not a professional athlete. Obviously, I'm not a professional quarterback by any means. I have some experience with football, but it's not on a professional level. So
Really?
I say it all with a grain of salt. All right, Charlie.
I didn't realize. I thought the whole time you were a retired NFL player.
All right, Charlie. Got jokes this morning, girl.
Oh, yep.
But my thing is if you saw, I'm screaming for Arizona to go no huddle. I'm screaming for them to go no huddle. And mind you, it was really hard getting into this game after the Patriot game. I got to be honest with you. Like, I'm watching it, but I'm, like, still thinking about the Patriot game. You know, it took me probably deep into the middle of the second quarter to really dig in and start watching this game and seeing what's going on here. But it was very apparent to me right out of the gate. Carolina's pass rush with their front four and whatever their blitz packages are at the very beginning of this game were absolutely potent. And I'm watching Carolina in the Seattle game, and I'm watching Carolina in this game, and it seems like they come out really fired up at the beginning of the game.
Sure.
So my thing is, Kubiak, you know, like once the partying is over, which it should be over right now, I'm hoping, you guys got to really get into that film room, because if Denver does not come up with a game plan to counter that, it's going to be problems. Obviously, Peyton's got limited mobility. We saw the offensive line break down in a lot of spots yesterday. Not saying that it's not going to hold up against Carolina, but Carolina comes out like a bat out of hell, man. And I got to tell you, they look super impressive yesterday. I'm not going to take nothing away from that game. I am going to say they look really, really strong.
Right. And
They do.
One thing we're going to need to really investigate, Dream, and I don't really know too much about this other than the eye test. I got to look at some of the stats and trends and stuff like that have happened all year long. But I believe that Carolina's offensive line is 100% better than the New England Patriots. They protect Cam pretty well out there. You got to admit that. I mean, Cam doesn't really get hit that often.
That may be true. I don't, you know, we're going to have to take a look at some more film. That may be true, but that does not still mean that they're going to stop the Denver Broncos.
Okay. All right.
But that may be true that they have protected Cam. However, let's not forget the Denver Broncos are not just about the pass rush either. I mean, they were about coverage, and
Sure.
Arizona had guys. I mean, there were guys just flying wide open out there.
It was
and
crazy.
they refused to come out of the zone. I mean, some of these teams, I'm just telling you, I don't understand how you have an NFL defense that does not have a zone and a man package and are not able to play both. This is, to me, this is like Jimmy Boeheim in the 2-3 zone, and you can't do anything else. If you can't come out of your zone or make adjustments, I mean, you're handicapped.
Sure.
I mean, I think you just look at that first touchdown of the game by Ted Ginn Jr.
Oh, yeah, that was
He
outstanding.
raced 22 yards to the end zone. You saw him weaving in and out, dodging every defender, knocking people down. I mean, it was like he could basically do whatever he wanted. He was all over the place. No one could stop him.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of, I think, set the tone for the rest of the game. And not only was that a big play for the team, the Panthers as a whole, but it was also a big play for Ginn because, as we all know, he was let go by the Cardinals.
Right.
So for him, that was like, all right, you let me go.
But Ted been let
Here we go.
That's like his 16. He been let go by a lot.
I know, but it's still, I think
Yeah.
that for him, like, did mean a little something more.
That's got to do with Ted Ginn and his Pam endorsement with his catches. But the play to me that really got this game in Carolina's favor was the punt. The punt return that was fumbled really screwed it up because Arizona was clawing their way back in the game. They had just gotten another stop out of Carolina, and then they fumbled a punt and then allowed a touchdown, and then it was like they couldn't stop it from there. The only note that I'm going to say about this game that I did see, though, and I'm going back to it one more time, in the third quarter, when Arizona went no huddle, they seemed to have some success against the Carolina Panther defense. And we know nobody runs a better no huddle than Peyton Manning.
Sure.
So I would definitely, Denver, obviously, just guys get paid millions of dollars to come up with, the ripples and come up with the game plan. But, I mean, I would think I would get in the lab with Peyton right now and put together a no-huddle package. I'd open right up with that in the Super Bowl as an attempt to slow this Carolina defense down a bit. And then once you get them slowed down, then you can get back to what you like to do. But they're going to have to slow down that pass rush because I saw what everybody else saw. If they pass rush Denver like that and Denver is in that single back and can't hand off, he's not going to be able to drop back. Yes, he's going to get sacked. And yes, it's going to be a long day for Denver. I agree.
I'm looking at
I also believe that, we talked about this before the game happened last week, that Cam Newton is that dual threat. He does a lot with his arm. He does a lot with his legs. And I think last night we saw a lot more where that came from him. He was able to get 2 touchdowns on his own. And I think that the Broncos need to be able to stop a very powerful guy like that because he took a lot into his own hands last night. I mean, it's very rare, I think, that you see a quarterback so involved, outside of the pocket. You know what I mean? I think he just does so much. And last night, obviously, as we saw, the Cardinals weren't able to counter that. But I think the Broncos, they are a very strong defensive team, but they need to be able to counter that as well.
Oh, and there's... Go ahead, Dream.
Slightly reminiscent of Steve McNair to me a little bit, and this may be a little bit before your time.
Yep.
I think Cam's much better. Don't go crazy, guys. I think he's obviously much better
Air
than
McNair.
Steve McNair. But Steve McNair, gave you that. He got his team to the Super Bowl as well when he played with the Titans, and he was able to get it done through the air and get it done with his legs and lead his team kind of in the same respect.
There's one play that you almost just can't even begin to defend it, and that's you got this 6'5" quarterback jumping over the line and reaching over the ball. He's putting a ball, Dream. He's got to be putting the ball up 7.5 feet plus jumping on top of it. It's probably 8-9 feet in the air, man. Going over cracking the end zone. That is very tough to defend. I mean, you gotta have to get Dikembe Mutombo out there to block that dude. For real. That's crazy. And some of them designed runs.
If you don't let them get to the goal line, then you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. Right. That's when they got into those predicaments both times.
Don't get no pass interference calls. Get him on the one.
But
man.
still, just to see that he is so powerful. I mean, he's just such a big guy. I mean, he's muscular, but he's also got the height and he's got the wingspan. He's just a really, what's the word? Well, he's perfect.
Phenomenal talent. Phenomenal talent.
Oh!
There you go.
I knew you weren't going to like that. That's the only.
So the truth is finally coming out.
He's great.
Charly,
I love Cam Newton. I love him.
She got a crush on Killer Cam.
I do have a crush on Cam Newton.
Killer Cam, y'all act like Killer Cam just landed in the league this year. By the way, Killer's been in the league now for a bunch of years. With all of that 6'5" and 240 and was terrible.
Well, now he's got the team around him. And one receiver that emerged was this Corey Brown guy. Where did he come from, man? Yeah. 4 receptions, 113 yards, 1 touchdown, and caught an 86-yard pass, Dream. You know what? Pay attention to Ted Ginn. Pay attention to Olsen. Great. Well, now you got Kotry, you got Funchess, you got Corey Brown. This team is loaded, Dream. They are loaded with weapons. Loaded.
It's not even that they have a star. It's, these guys are good, but they're not star receivers. They're not, like we hear, Larry Fitzgerald, for example. They're not Larry Fitzgerald,
right.
But you look at that, Larry Fitzgerald was basically a non-factor last night, and then they're just able to utilize their weapons so well. I just think it says so much about the team because they have so much depth, and they're so well-rounded, and they don't. I just think it's a really good dynamic they have going on in Carolina.
So loaded more than Amendola, Edelman, Gronkowski?
I can't put them in that Gallagher.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, it's
shut it down. Shut it down.
No, the Patriots are loaded as well, and like we had said last week, we mentioned that prior to this game, Tom Brady was 10-0 with those 3 star receivers on the field: Amendola, Edelman, and Gronkowski. Yet he wasn't able to get the job done. I just think that it says a lot that we have these no-name receivers on Carolina's team that they're just all on the same page.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But
and that's important.
But what my point was, we just saw a defense stop Gronk, Amendola, and Edelman. So I would think that they should the challenge of Olsen, Ted Ginn, and
If
other
the
guy.
Broncos play defense like they did last night, there is absolutely
It'll be a great game.
good shot that they could come out as the Super Bowl champs. No doubt about that.
No, I'm obviously
Absolutely.
teasing.
I'm looking at this. So, guys, at the end of the day, here is the opening line. You've got the Denver Broncos are 4.5-point underdogs as they face the Carolina Panthers with an under-over of 45 points, Dream. So, you know what? The line opened at this. It's kind of went down from 4.5 to 4, back to 4.5. Looks like there's a lot of money starting to come in on Carolina already, but obviously you know that there's probably less than 1% of the bets are in so far. You know, everybody and their mother's going to be on this game, and I have a feeling I just don't like that 4 points, Dream. We're going to talk about it next Super Bowl
everybody's
Sunday.
Go Carolina, man. I think everybody, it's an eye test a lot of time with gambling.
Yep.
And everybody saw a really, really impressive win out of Carolina.
Yep.
2 impressive wins out of Carolina back to back. And in their minds, because I got a bunch of texts and there were tweets last night, everybody, all they really wanted to talk about was Carolina. So I think that everybody is in favor. I mean, it looks like their year, Super Cam. But we've seen these storylines before, people. We've seen super teams come into the Super Bowl and lose.
Yep.
I mean, Patriots were undefeated, playing the best of their football ever. The Giant team, not so great, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going way back, Colts, Jets. Anybody remember, we've seen this before.
Sure.
So I'm just saying, before you go crazy,
I agree.
just remember. And listen, I saw it too. It was impressive the way they beat Arizona. It was very impressive the way they beat Arizona. I thought there was a possibility Carolina could win. I didn't think they would win like that.
Right.
I didn't think they would win like that. I thought the game would be a little bit more competitive than it was.
I thought the game was going to be much more competitive
that
than that.
That game was not competitive at all.
Well, 7 turnovers ain't going to help you, Dream.
No, of course not.
So when you look at that.
Just so you know, I did call my guy today. He is working on getting us the 493rd section in the stadium.
Oh, you mean for the Mets?
Yes, so I'll have the 3 tickets for us. He would recommend it. You bring some type of oxygen device, as it will be very hard to breathe where we'll be sitting.
I can't wait to hear this in April, Dream. All right, guys.
And you will need a telescope if you want to see the field.
Oh, very funny, man. You got to do that to me like that,
You will need a telescope if you want to see the field. Guys, I am getting the absolute worst. See, the deal wasn't the quality of the seats. It was I had to buy tickets to the game, right?
All right.
So you're going to be at last row.
We will be last row at the highest altitude seats that they offer.
Or better yet, you know what you should just do is you should get those seats that I don't know what the Mets ballpark is set up like, but I know at some ballparks they have like just the bar area where you can just buy like kind of like standing only seats.
Standing room only. Yeah, they have
No,
those.
that would be too cool. No.
Yeah, but at least you would have a good time too.
No, we go away. No, I'm gonna have a good time watching the 2 of them in these awful seats.
I can't wait to go there with the evil genius and the Dream. We're gonna have a good time at Met Stadium, City Field.
I'm a little offended that I wasn't even invited. Like,
hey, you know what, Dream?
If I come or
Dream's
not
got
is one thing, but I should at least be invited.
You know what?
I just believe that.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna slide that into the bet as well.
I'll get good seats.
Okay.
For us, and then the doctor be up in the nosebleed. You and I'll be.
We'll be right behind the.
We'll be right on the
funny.
baseline, eating popcorn, getting hot dog stuff. Hat and Dr. Dan will be up in the nosebleeds.
We're gonna slide that into the bet. So, Dream, you have to buy all 3 of us bets tickets now. At the end of the day. Oh, guys, we're having a good time. We're on Twitter right now at SBTV Nation, SBTVNation.com, and we're also live on YouTube, rocking and rolling this morning.
You know something I want to know before we move on from the football topic. This is an interesting game, an interesting matchup of quarterbacks because the age difference is 13 years.
Sure.
I mean, these guys, I think they said that's the largest age gap between 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks in history. So, you look at Peyton Manning drafted first overall in 1998, Cam Newton drafted first overall in 2011. Von Miller drafted 2nd overall right behind Cam Newton in 2011. It's just, you got a lot of, little details to pay attention to that makes the storyline even more exciting. Oh
Absolutely.
My goodness.
And
we've got another costume change
My
right
last,
over here.
we're going to roll out with the orange.
What do you got now, Dream? You got the Bronco orange going, the Peyton Ball jersey. I love it. Guys.
He's got 3 Peyton Manning jerseys on right now. He's got his Indianapolis Colts jersey. He's got the navy blue Broncos jersey.
Yep.
And now he's got the orange
it.
Broncos jersey on.
That's
All
fantastic.
Peyton Manning jerseys. One
I should go
stacked on
grab.
top of another.
You know
on
I
another.
got the Tennessee one too.
Hey, you should bring it out.
I couldn't find it. I was trying to prepare. I'm like, where's the Tennessee at? I couldn't find it.
What about a hat?
Man,
Can
you
you
know
have a hat
what?
you can throw on, too?
I
Some
really
mittens.
hope for the fans and everybody, and even us, that this game doesn't get out of hand like Arizona did, Dream.
Yeah.
I just hope that doesn't happen. I hope it's a
Yeah, I don't
competitive
think
game
it's
at
going to
least.
get out of hand. First of all, it's the Super Bowl. Second of all, Carolina is not home. And neither are the Broncos either. So I do feel like they're going to be a couple of small additives that are going to make it different. Also, definitely, you definitely got to think about field conditions, jitters. Everybody's going to make adjustments. This defense is definitely one of the better defenses in the league that
100%,
Carolina has seen. So I don't think it will be out of hand. I think it will be a pretty good game for the most part.
Yeah, we got to break it down upwards, downwards, sideways, the whole package, man. We got 2 weeks to do it, and we're going to do a huge Super Bowl party. We're going to do a huge Super Bowl show on 10 a.m. on February 7th, and we're going to be getting a roster of guests, Stream. We're going to be breaking this down and going from there. There's all kinds of props, all kinds of stuff. And I got to be honest with both you guys that I am very, very happy that they added Beyonce to the halftime show, because I just don't think Coldplay was enough.
Beyonce?
Coldplay, yeah, that's not enough.
You mean Rihanna?
Wait, didn't Beyonce just do a show? When was her show? Like
You
2
mean
years
Rihanna?
ago?
Yeah, no, it's Rihanna's in the commercial, but it's Beyonce.
Oh.
Beyonce's going to be
But
a
didn't
halftime.
Beyonce just have a Super Bowl show like
I thought
in
she
the
did too.
Yeah, I
past
think so.
years?
A couple of years ago, I think she was in there. But hey, I wouldn't mind seeing her again.
No, I
Beyonce's
mean she's
incredible.
a great performer. I just remember her doing it semi-recently, but yeah, Coldplay, you're right. Not enough. They don't bring enough
Not
to the
enough,
table.
man.
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
they got a couple of good tracks, but I mean, I think people would
They're
be
just
kind of
not that like energetic, in my opinion.
Right.
They
Agreed.
need to bring out some, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going
You want
with
to
this,
be a
guys.
little sentimental and waving the lighters in the air side to side slowly with Coldplay going during the halftime
Exactly.
show. You don't want to be doing that. All of a sudden, they're going to be doing that, and Beyonce's going to be like, all right, put your lighters out. Let's go. Go crazy. So, hey, it is what it is, guys. So, moving on.
Wait, one thing we are gonna, people want to keep an eye out for, just as far as this week develops, is Thomas Davis, the star linebacker
Yes.
from Carolina, went out with an arm injury yesterday.
Broken arm.
Yeah, so now there is suspicions and, whatever it is, speculation whether or not he will or will not play on Super Bowl Sunday, but he says he will be out there. Those are his words.
Yep. Wouldn't miss it for the world. That's exactly
We'll
what
see.
he said
I mean,
for
that
Super
would
Bowl
be
50.
awful to have to miss the biggest game of the year with an injury, but I mean, a broken arm is a broken arm, and I think if I had a broken arm, I'd be sitting my butt on the couch all day.
Very, very good point. Very good point. So, guys, we're going to move on from the NFL right now and go over to the NBA, because there is a very big game tonight, and that is the San Antonio Spurs, Dream.
But Woods GG wants us to talk about Celtics Washington.
Celtics Washington, man. We might get into that in a little bit, brother, but we got to talk about popping Golden State tonight, man.
Woods GG is like, all right, that was yesterday. Who cares? Peyton Ball never go to Super Bowl. I gotta get this money tonight.
That's my boy all the way in Australia, rocking and rolling, man.
Oh my God, what's up, Woods G? Big ups to you, man. Thanks for shouting us out. We definitely gonna get to the NBA for you, player.
All right. So we're looking at this line, and Golden State is 20-0 at home and winners of 3 consecutive games. Line started at -3. It's up to -5 now. One of the reasons being that Tim Duncan is out of this particular game with an injury, Dream. You know what? This
Here we
is
go.
a game. It's a 10:30 start. great game to sit back and watch and see how Pop manages the three-point line as far as defense is concerned, because they are the number one three-point defense in the league and all of the NBA, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Golden State can handle this. What's your thoughts on what we're going to see here, Dream?
And here we go with the landscape of injuries, okay? You know what I'm saying? And this is what we talked about, why you don't go crazy on anybody yet, because it's a long season and we don't know what the teams will look like at the end of the season.
Right.
Because, here comes injury time. And, there are some guys on the San Antonio Spurs, that are a little bit up there in age. So we definitely have to keep an eye out on that. As far as this particular matchup, brother, I am definitely going to lean the Golden State Warriors at home.
Really?
They are going to look to come out and do their thing in impressive fashion as they would. I like Golden State in this game. I think I told you the last time I saw them play, I felt like they just were a lot faster than San Antonio.
Okay.
I know San Antonio has gotten a little bit of youth with them, but I still don't think that San Antonio can quite run the floor with Golden State. But we'll get a look at it tonight. I just think that, Golden State will be a little bit faster. There'll be a lot of electricity in there. They'll really be up for this game. So far in big games, they've showed up and tried to make a statement and put their stamp on it. I feel like they'll be there doing that tonight. And let's not forget, Steve Kerr is now back at the helm of coach.
All right, and LaMarcus Aldridge is having back spasm, and he is, let's see what's got going on here. He is probable to play tonight with back spasms, though. So, Charlie, what should we look at in this game? Great game tonight, huh?
Yeah, it is a great game, and Dream, I think you hit the nail on the head saying that the Warriors have been awesome in every big game of the season so far. It's not like we've seen, for example, we used that game with the Cavs last week where they just looked very flat, even though they came into that game all talking like this was one of the biggest games of the season. They knew it was. They had something to prove, but they still came out super flat. The Warriors, on the other hand, exact opposite. They always come out with a lot of aggression, a lot of energy, and I don't see that changing tonight. I think that when you look at these two teams, I mean, they both have a lot to offer. I think that the Warriors are just spectacular. They really are something special.
Sure.
I think the Spurs, they just have a lot of veteran leadership, which serves them really well. And like we spoke about last week, they just have their fundamentals down pat, which is something that has also served them very well and led them to a lot of success. I think if this were to be a series, let's say we're in the finals, where it's best of 7, I think the Spurs become more of an issue for the Warriors just because they are so consistent. I mean, as the Warriors are too, but I just think that's when the Warriors would run into a little more trouble. I think right now we're talking one game on their home court tonight, and they're on a 3-game streak right now. I just think the Warriors, I think they have a little more advantage in this game, especially with Duncan being out. Although I do think the Spurs have the ability and the power to probably beat a lot of teams just with their bench alone.
All right, I'm looking at this. You have the number one defense in all of the NBA, number one scoring defense. The San Antonio Spurs giving up just under 80, about 89.8 points a game, where Golden State is the number one scoring team in the league, Dream. So this is going to be a really good matchup, kind of like the Super Bowl is going to be, where you got the number one offense versus the number one defense. You're looking at the same type of thing here in the NBA tonight. It's going to be good.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting too, because we mentioned, they have the top 3-point defense, and that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's something that will come in handy, especially when playing a team like the Warriors. But when you have Steph Curry behind the half-court line throwing up shots and making them, I mean, those are shots that you really can't defend. I mean, and that's kind of, I feel like become one of his trademark moves. I mean, just throwing up shots from all over the place, and they all go in somehow. So it just makes everything a little more difficult for the Spurs and not only them, but every other team that the Warriors face.
Dream, we might have to run a full court press on them tonight to get the job done. in this particular.
Don't be surprised if Pop pulls it out.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
If anybody would run a full court press, it would be him.
Exactly. So we'll see what ends up going down with that, but that is at 10:30, so that's going to be going on pretty late. It's probably going to end at about 1:30 in the morning here on the East Coast, so don't expect us to be, what's the word I'm looking for, getting a whole bunch of sleep tonight before the show tomorrow, man. So I'm going to be watching that game front to back because I got to see what's going to go on in that particular one. The next one I'm looking at here is the Minnesota T-Wolves versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Charlie, who was responsible for David Black getting fired? We haven't not heard your opinion on that. Was it
LeBron James?
was he responsible for that, or what happened there, Charlie, with David Black being fired? Most successful coach to ever get fired in the NBA.
Yeah, it's one of those moves that I think for a lot of people was baffling.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, at least some of the responses that I was seeing when it happened immediately were, why would you do this in the middle of a season? This is just going to disrupt everything. But really, it's not, because let's be honest. Can we play that? Can we roll that sound again?
LeBron James. LeBron James.
I love that, Dream. That is the best.
Listen, I heard this on Saturday. My kids and I listen to that thing. And we laugh every time we hear it, especially my 4-year-old.
Is that a real kid?
Yes, it is.
It's a Vine, yeah.
I'll send you the link so you can see it.
I wonder what else he can say like that. But anyways, LeBron James. Let's be honest. He's calling all the shots anyways. David Blatt has not been the one, even this entire first half of the season, to call the shots. So the fact that he's now out really doesn't disrupt anything. I think maybe... they did get that loss immediately following, which, David Blatt was just over in the corner sipping his iced tea. But I just think that LeBron James, he is calling all the shots on that team. And this isn't something that I've necessarily spoken to any one person about, but it is pretty much common knowledge. And David Blatt almost was out last season. You just see a lot of interaction on the sidelines where David Blatt will be in the middle of the huddle, marking up his whiteboard, and LeBron James will straight up grab it and be like, no, we're not doing that. It's just one of those things. LeBron James, he's calling some of the shots, he's calling some of the plays, he's overriding what David Blatt has had to say in the past, and Ty Lue was his boy. That's been his boy forever.
Yeah.
So... it did not shock me at all. And I think that down the stretch, I don't think it's going to make a difference really who's their coach. I just think LeBron James was maybe sick of David Blatt, maybe complained one too many times. And he said that he had no idea that it was going to go down. But
he had no idea.
I'm sure that he knew it was going to go down, maybe just not that particular day, if anything.
Dream, he had no idea. Don't accuse my boy of that.
I know.
LeBron James!
Because the GM didn't bother to just run it by him. Because the GM didn't run it by. Hey, LeBron, we're getting ready to fire your coach, but we're not going to let you know till stop it.
All right. Well, they're giving 13.5 tonight, guys. Almost 2 touchdowns to the Minnesota T-Wolves, who, Dream, this team is falling way off, man. I thought they were going to be halfway decent this year. They're 14-31 and 7-14 on the road. Going into Cleveland. Cleveland got embarrassed by the Bulls the other night, by the way.
Yes, they did.
With their new coach's debut. And I'm looking at this, and I think Cleveland gets the job done here. 13.5 is a lot of points. So if you guys are doing any kind of money line parlays or whatever the hell you want to do, you might want to consider, even though they start slow in the first half, I think Cleveland Cavaliers in the first half and a money line parlay might be the move here. And I think that'll be the play in as far as this is concerned. Cleveland is 18-22-2 against the spread, so they don't cover that often. So something to take a look at, Dream. Are you getting involved in it or nah?
No.
No. Okay. No. How about the Boston Celtics versus the Washington Wizards, man? Woods GG wants to know what's up with this game. Washington
Yeah,
minus
what's up
2.5.
with it is competitive. So
Very
let it
competitive.
loose.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
Celtics are a pain in the neck, but the Wizards are, turning their season around.
Yeah,
They're up
man.
and coming. This is a tough game right here. I really wouldn't be involved in this game, personally, from a financial aspect. This is a great game to watch, but both these teams are, on a collision course right now with each other, and both, new and improved, up and coming, getting the season going. I honestly can't point you in any direction in this game.
Nah, man, I'm looking at this game and definitely mirror images of each other. These
Sure.
two teams. I mean, they're hovering around that that 5 to 8 seed. Towards the end of the Eastern, in the Eastern Conference playoffs here. Wow, I'm all over the place, guys. I apologize. I was up pretty much most of the night, so I'm just trying to gather my steam here for the show. So, and when you look
So
at
worried
this,
about LeBron James?
yeah, right.
I just tagged you with that, Charlie. So
Oh, that's
Cool,
great.
cool.
That's
Get a
great.
laugh for
When I
everyone.
look at this here, Boston is pretty much superior in every single statistical category. I'm looking at points for, points against, points differential, offensive and defensive rebounding, free throw percentage, three-pointers, and steals. Wow. And Boston's 5-2 in the last 7 games. But Washington,
in this, if Boston does win this game, that'll complete the 4-game sweep for him this season over the Wizards.
wow, very interesting. So it seems like they have their number. Woots GG. You know what, brother? I wouldn't get involved in it, man.
Oh,
I think
you
there's
gotta let that
way
loose.
better games to get to touch as far as financially are concerned. Dream, I'm looking at this. I don't see anything else I like, man. I mean, I really just kind of went all out yesterday with,
Yes.
everything. And this weekend, I mean, we had
Yes.
a plethora of college basketball.
Yes.
We had the NFL playoffs yesterday.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just struggling trying to find anything right now, man.
Yes,
Just kind of
I
talking about
agree.
them. So,
I think a lot of the matchups tonight are pretty competitive. Like, I'm looking at, like, the Heat and the Bulls. Like, that should be a decent
really?
game. The Pelicans and the Rockets, I don't know why. I feel like that could be a decent game. The Pelicans have been playing, like, a little bit better as of recently. I know the Rockets are a more dominant team overall. But I don't know. Yeah, I think tonight's going to be some good basketball.
absolutely. I'm definitely going to be cued in on that Spurs and Warriors match. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Over to do you guys have any more NBA before we move on to college hoop?
So let's
Charlie,
proceed.
Dream, you good? 2 games on a ticket tonight as far as college basketball. You got number 20 Duke going into number 15 Miami, Dream. And you got Miami minus 3.5 with an over of 153. I see Duke caught their tight win over the weekend.
And gonna get right back to losing again unless they can get LeBron James. But they can't. So Miami should be ready to wreck Duke tonight.
I know. Duke has no depth, dude.
I know they're Duke guys, and I know that they've shown, some shimmers of being good this season.
Yeah.
They are just not athletic. Yeah, if the threes are going down, they're going to be pesty. I agree. And there is some talent there, but I don't think that they are all ready for this Miami team. I expect Miami to bring it to them. I like Miami's transition basketball game. I like their half-court game. I like their low-post game. I like their guard play. I like every facet of the game that they play more than what I'm seeing out of Duke. And I know it's Coach K, and I know it's Duke, but I'm sorry. Them guys don't do it for me this season.
No. And they have no depth. They have like 6 guys. That's it right now.
And Plumlee is the clumsiest thing. Funny.
Your boy Plumlee.
Oh, my God.
I don't know, man. We'll see what ends up happening. But Miami is 9-1 at home. And the Dukies are 15-5, but definitely sliding. And you know what? They just played on Saturday. And, when you have a lack of depth in your team and you just played 2 days ago and you're traveling again, I mean, ugh.
And remember, Duke are like the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees. That's the class of that, of NCAA basketball. Especially they won last year, so Miami will be way up to play Duke.
ACC
And you
matchup.
always know that any team traveling to Miami could have distractions.
Big time. You already know that. Next game we have is number 3 Kansas going into number 19 Iowa State, and Iowa State is -2, Dream, with an
It's your
under-over
boy, son.
of 161. Perry Ellis, ready to rock. Go buy my man a do-rag player. Come on. Get it.
Forget about it. Stop
He is so number 3. I mean, hey, this team was Texas was all up in them in the
For a
first
minute.
half. In the
For a
first half,
minute.
Texas was up by 12. Like I think it was 17-5.
Then they got right.
And then they got right, man. And all the shots started falling. And at the end of the day, I mean, they did their thing. And Kansas is on the road now. So I'm looking at this, and I think it's a tough spot. I think you got to sit back and watch this one as well.
Definitely. You can sit back and watch this one, but I got to let you know, I think you can let Miami go.
Yeah, Miami's good.
Yeah, I think you can go ahead and fire on Miami, but you could let this Kansas-Iowa State game go. Check it out. I just don't trust Kansas on the road. I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I see them play, and I know that they're talented. I don't know. Something about Bill Self's coaching just doesn't do it for me. He and Willie Williams just don't do it for me as coaches. And I know they're both holding like the 2 and 3 spots right now in college basketball.
Sure, absolutely. And Iowa State has been very good at home, man. And they beat the Oklahoma Sooners at home. And Oklahoma Sooners, I believe, are one of the best teams out there right now, Jim.
I got to look at them on Saturday. They're good.
They're real good.
They are good. They shoot well. I haven't seen. They're good.
Yeah.
Arizona, I was very impressed
Very
with
aggressive,
what I
too.
saw out of them.
Very aggressive. I mean, they went into Baylor. Baylor was undefeated at home, and they pounded Baylor.
Yep.
So something to take a look at. This might be one of the super teams. Charlie, you have any NCAA basketball that you either seen over the weekend or anything tonight, anything that's on your brain before we move on?
I didn't get to check out any basketball over the weekend, unfortunately. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the schedule for tonight. I just got it up. My computer's slow these days.
Oh, good.
Let's see here.
Those were the only two
Yeah,
ranked
yeah.
matchups
Those were.
that
I
there
think you guys got it covered.
All right, perfect. All right, Dream, we got to take a look at the ice real quick and have a quick conversation before we get the hell out of here, man, because it is Monday, and, you know, I got 100,000 things to do today, man.
Yes, sir.
I am seeing the New York Rangers, who are hosting the Buffalo Sabres tonight, and the Rangers just lost yesterday 3-0 versus Iowa. That's an embarrassing loss for them.
Versus
shut
Iowa?
Up. Versus Ottawa, my bad.
Oh,
Iowa.
I was like,
I'm looking at
what?
two screens here.
What's with you with Iowa, son?
Iowa.
That's the same thing you got.
I'm a
You
mess
stuck
today.
on Iowa.
I'm stuck on Iowa. But, yeah, I'm looking at this. I think the New York Rangers bounce back today, get the job done, man. I think they're starting to turn. They lost yesterday, but I think they're doing a little bit better these days, man. I think this team will
All
get
right.
it done.
It is time to turn it around, though. It is
Better.
time. So wake up. You're
up.
home. You got a weak Buffalo team coming in. It is time. Tavares, where you at?
Yes, very much so.
Let's go. I mean, dude's multi-talented, incredible. I mean, he's just got to step up his game now because it is really time for them to get going, or they're going to find themselves in a bad way. It's definitely getting the time to take the gloves off right now and get into it with hockey. And I also concur with you. I do like the Rangers tonight. They are better at most of the facets on the ice than the Sabres are. So I like them tonight.
All right. And what do you think of the Dallas Stars?
Dallas Stars, man, can't figure out what's going on with them as of late. A little bit of something seems to be happening with the chemistry. I'm not really sure. I'm going to fall back from them, even though they are due to just come on out and win. And the Flames don't pose a serious, they're not like a serious opponent to be concerned with here. But I am just going to fall back from that particular matchup tonight, as I don't know what's going on with the Stars right now.
Dallas is 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games, man. Ouch.
Yeah.
Nasty.
They're in that little lull that we've seen most of these
Just like
teams
the Rangers
go
are
through.
right now.
Yeah. Like the Rangers are coming out of, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
They're in that small lull. I mean, we saw the Islanders there. Montreal went there for a little bit. The only team that seems to have not gone there is the Washington Capitals.
Caps. Love the Caps, man.
Yeah.
Caps
But
and the
it looks-
Blackhawks.
Well, the Blackhawks, the Blackhawks started out slow, though.
Yeah, okay.
You
All right.
know?
Caps has just been like steamrolling everybody.
Steamrolling the
man.
whole time, right? But the Stars, hey, you know what? They should be able to get it done tonight in their house. But I think the Rangers are a safer call than the Stars, personally.
Okay. All right. Good deal, man. So, Charlie, do you have anything else on your brain before we close out of here?
Guys, good show, good info. I'm excited for the Super Bowl now, even though we gotta wait 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
instead of one. And let's be honest, like, I probably won't watch the Pro Bowl next weekend, but I mean, Vontae Davis, Colts player, he just got signed onto the team, so good for him.
Oh, cool.
Colts cornerback. So yeah, I'm good show. I'm good football yesterday, and let's keep it going.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Dream, you going to be involved in the Pro Bowl?
I am not.
The junkie play? Come on.
Not at all. Never.
Take the over. Whatever you do, take the over. Because it's going to be
Never.
like 50-50 at the end of the day.
Never. I don't even-
52-49 final score. So,
Don't
hey,
care.
that's it, Dream. What do you got to do to close out of here, brother?
Hey, just the usual, thanking everybody that tweeted into the madness this morning. Glad to have you guys on board as always. We have the Pick Sports Attacks, AB Lint, Terrence Mack, Jay Rizzle, Vegas Girl 92661, Key MVU, Joseph Del Rosario, MC Money, Big Boy, Nicholas, J. Frank Vincalato, Sports We also have JC, Andy Jones, Holiday, Rick Lopez, Nick Arestis. We got Dr. Dizzle out there, Dan Grossman. We got Kevin Bookie out there as well. Benjamin Rose, Sin City Maverick D, Spot Bet, Jim Rome is a douche, Total Sports Edge, Irvin, Vegas Jack, BT, Stoopy Bets, OJFB, JDH24, Christo Sermata, Fast Eddie 72, and Theory Brashard, just to name a few. Also want to thank our good friends over at SBR Forum. We want to thank Ralph Cooper over at KCOH and all their support, as those are a couple of the other spots that we've been to. Nick Arestis just posted.
Yeah, I know, that's funny.
Guys, as always, I am the Dream. It is our pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow to chat with you real soon. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day, as you cannot get this time back.
All right, guys, we love you to death. Go out there. Go easy. Enjoy the Spurs and Golden State. You might not want to get involved in that, just saying. But, hey, if you do, I wish you the best of luck. Make all your dreams a damn reality and get that money. Let's go.